I'm Tabak. I'm here. I'm at the show of East End Photography Group, which we have a lot of different art to show you today, of different people with different styles of photography. We have all different types of variety, with all different styles of photography, as I said, and let's see what's going on. Alright, let's check it out. And I am with
Ray German.
Hey Ray, I like your art. What inspired you?
Oh, gee. Years ago I wanted to take some pictures of my son when he was an infant. And one thing led to another, and I started going to galleries, looking at shows, and just became more and more interested in different kinds of work.
Okay, so what time do you think you got into it?
Oh, early 1980s.
Okay, so tell me, I like some of the stuff. What were you trying to composite into these particular pictures?
Oh, just the patterns, a lot of lines, and these particular photographs were taken at right after sunrise.
Okay, very nice, very, very nice.
Thank you.
What other stuff have you done?
I document New York City. I've been photographing the Adirondacks the last 10 years. I've been going out west 7 or 8 times now, and Long Island, Finger Lakes region of New York. Pretty much the entire region of New York State I've been photographing.
Okay. Any specific picture you like that is like your favorite?
One of the Brooklyn Bridge, one of my earlier ones. I took that about 1982. They actually had a contest in the New York Daily News one year, and it won second place for the architectural category.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
So tell me, when is your favorite time to actually take pictures for you?
Well, I like the soft lighting. I don't really like contrasty lights, so I get up early anyway, so I like to go out at sunrise or late afternoon, but particularly, shortly after sunrise.
Okay. And is there anything like, you gotta like feel in the mood, or is it, just happens, or, snap it on, snap it off?
I'm always in the mood, but I often go back to the same place more than once. I may photograph something now, but I may go back to it throughout the year at different times, because sometimes you're just in a different mood, and sometimes you just see things that you don't see other times. It's hard to explain, but every time you go back, it's different,
Do you feel as an artist you grew, like throughout your years of taking pictures?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it keeps evolving. You keep learning. You keep looking at other people's work.
Try to always take something from someone else and go, wait, that looks really nice, and I try to change that around and do my own spin on that?
Yeah, exactly. You have your influences. All the greats.
Yeah, so, is there anything though in here that exactly inspired you, or just, just going with the mode?
Well, what inspired me, particularly about this one, is this is taken at Fire Island, and it's very unusual to find patterns in the sand like that, plus a huge mass of water. And that only happened shortly after the rain. But the thing about Fire Island is the next time you go back, it's totally different.
So what type of cameras you use?
I use a 4x5, a wooden camera. It's a replica of an 1800s camera, large format. It's with the old black cloth and with traditional film.
Oh, okay.
For landscapes.
Oh, okay. What's the 4x5 film format?
Well, it's single sheet film. It's not roll film, so it's one photograph at a time. And they load it into film holders, which hold 2 sheets. And I use traditional Kodak T-Max film.
How long does it take you to do the processing?
Well, this particular film you develop in trays, and it takes a couple of hours by the time you're finished developing a 1 week's work, for instance.
Okay. Well, I'm Tybach, and I'm here with Ray, and it was good to talk to you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Tybach, and I am with
Ryan White.
Ryan. I got a couple questions for you. First of all,
Have at it.
what about that bush one right there? I love that. What inspired you to do that?
Well, who said that wasn't a found photograph?
Okay. No, because I was just curious. What was that
I was just driving down the highway in Marone, Cuba, and I saw these 2 Cuban guys standing next to the sign for the town, welcoming you to the town, with a sign that said, George Bush is a.
Okay. So what type of format do you use for taking
I
pictures?
use an Olympus 35 millimeter.
Okay.
because that's all I have. I got it for $1 at a yard sale. All my camera equipment was stolen. My contacts was stolen in Cuba 2 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Government.
Okay. And so what do you normally use black and white? Not
All,
color?
always black and white, yes.
Is there a specific reason for that or anything?
I like it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I like.
To get the contrast out, is that it? Or?
Basically, it's I like the medium. I've never shot. I've been a photographer for 30 years, and I've never used anything but black and white. And I tried bringing some color to Cuba once, and I got all confused because I never knew what was in the camera. So
I see you do a lot more of shots that are more terrain-like, and not more rural areas, more where the civilization is not fully developed.
I've traveled about 18,000 miles around Cuba, and that's what I love about Cuba. I mean, Havana's nice, but it's 2 days and you're over it, and it's also in a very bad way these days because of the political situation, and Castro seems to be making his last grab for money and everything and whatnot. And I don't want to belabor the point, but the country is where it's at in Cuba, and there's basically 3,000 miles of beaches, of some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, and the people are the most wonderful people I've ever met in my life.
Okay, and I take it you're very strong. You want Cuba to change or anything like that, or you feel that?
Well, I want my friends there to be free, and have a society where they vote on who governs them. It's basically the longest-standing dictatorship in the world. We're lucky enough to be able to say that George Bush is leaving us in 2 years, whereas they've never had that choice for 57 years.
Yeah, that is very true. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Hi, I'm Tybach, and I am with...
Frank Roccanova.
Hey, Frank, I got a couple questions for you, all right?
Sure.
All right, first of all, what inspired you to do this particular picture?
Well, this is part of a series that I've done, and it's called Homage to Magritte. Magritte is the surrealistic painter who I emulated with this whole series. What Magritte does with his paintbrush, I attempt to do with my camera. And there's a lot of things that Magritte has done that I've taken directly. And some of the pieces that I've done in the series, I've put a little bit of my own heart and soul into it. Magritte, he does an image very similar to this, where he has the background coming through the figure. It comes and it goes, and the background creates the shape, form, and the color that creates the image. So I was intrigued by what he had done, and I wanted to try to do it myself. The thing that makes this a little interesting, I shot the nude in Costa Rica last March, and then I shot the background in Amagansett, and then I photo-composed it together in Photoshop, which is what I do most everything in Photoshop.
So I'm going to say, I really like the way you did that, the way you blended the two together. Can you tell me exactly how did you do that in Photoshop? What did you?
Well, it's all done in layers, and you come and go with the layers. You know, it's giving one layer a little bit more opacity than the next until you get it just about right. And, you know, that's basically where it all happens. It all happens in the layers.
Okay. What specific type of cameras do you use, and what's your format?
Well, what I've been shooting with lately is a Canon D10. It's a 6.9 megapixel camera. I use Photoshop. That's my desktop tool. And I print out on a 7600 Epson.
Okay.
I'm fully, self-contained. I work in my home. I have a studio in my home / studio living room, and my office contains all my digital equipment.
Really interesting stuff. So how many pieces do you think you've done?
Well, in this particular series, I believe I have 13 or 14 that are completed. I have about 4 that are in my computer that I'm just about ready to compose together. These pieces take quite a long time to do. This piece, it's not the physical work. It's conceiving the concept, coming up with the concept. People have kind of coined me a conceptual photographer. I do other things besides what you see here. I do straight shots, but my background is advertising. I was a graphic designer, a photographer, I'm a filmmaker. I paint, I draw, I'm a sculptor, and today I'm into fine art, and that's what you see here. This particular piece is very, very similar to a piece that Magritte does, where he uses the man, I should say, holding an umbrella, and he creates rain using the man. I was intrigued with that image also. What I did here, the only image manipulation here are the men. The base photograph of the Manhattan Bridge in Dumbo. It was shot from the Brooklyn side of the Manhattan Bridge, an area called Dumbo. And if you notice, there's the Empire State Building here. That's the way I saw that shot. There's no image manipulation on the base shot. All the image manipulation was done with the composition of the men that create the rain. The piece is called Rain, and you know the thing that makes this piece real interesting, from a technical standpoint, the men are in front of the bridge, the men are behind the bridge, and they're also going through the bridge. So you've got depth happening with the men. Technically, that's a real difficult thing to do. This piece took me quite a long time to put it together, just to get the size, scale, relationship, and you know, these pieces do take a while. Men.
Well, thank you for your time. I really
Sure.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ty Bach, and I am with
Nick Tarr.
Nick. So what type of stuff do you do?
Well, you could call it digital photography. You could also call it salvage photography, in the sense that this is a building that is scheduled to do a lot of changing, and it's a historic building built in 1927 by Carl Fisher, and it's been a derelict building for about 40 years, and it's been in the process of being revamped recently and taken apart and reconstructed, and these are some of the images of it in its previous derelict incarnation.
Okay, I got a question. What type of actual camera do you use, and what's your format?
I use a Nikon Coolpix, and it's an older model. I think it's the 4600. It's the digital, and works very well for me. It's a nice camera, it's quite portable, and it's a Nikon. I've taken thousands of pictures with it. It takes a licking and keeps on clicking.
Yeah, that's what really matters now, isn't it? Yeah, but so how many pictures do you think you've done, or you know?
I'd say thousands. Oh, this particular subject, these are all the Montauk Playhouse, which is probably what I should have told you in advance. I've taken thousands of photographs over a period of almost 3 years of the Montauk Playhouse. And so, you know, thousands, but I started out as a motion picture video kind of guy, and discovered that I was really a still photographer underneath it all. So,
Well, you know, we all go different routes now, don't we?
yeah.
Such is life.
Exactly.
All right, well, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for making
All
me a famous guy.
No problem. Here on
Semper
Zenbox
Fidelis.
Forte. Hey! Ashawagh, and you are?
Abby Fallhaber?
Abby, I got a couple questions here, all right?
Okay.
All right. For what time did you shoot this particular piece?
Around 8 p.m. last summer.
Oh, okay. And you just felt like shooting, or how's it work?
I saw the light and it was coming over the grass in here and I loved it. I ran out there in the middle of the field to go take it. It's down at Girard Drive.
Oh, okay. And when you shoot, do you just you know, I got to do it now, or is it, you know, basically you got to plan it out, graph it, think it, you know?
Oh no, I carry my camera everywhere and wherever I see a shot, I just jump out and grab it.
All right. Well, what about this one up here? I can tell that one's a little different. What was the vibe and the mood in that one?
That one I was driving down the road and I spotted it and I loved it and I had to take it. It was a really foggy day that day. It was around noon actually, just a foggy noon day.
What type of camera do you use?
I shoot with a Nikon D70.
Okay.
Just
Digital?
digital, yes,
Oh, okay.
all digital.
Notice a lot of people like digital here.
Do all digital.
All right. How long have you been shooting for?
I've been shooting for about 8 years, and I work for the East Hampton Star. I do a lot of photography for them.
Oh, professional level.
Yes, professional level. Do a lot of wedding photography, stuff like that. So yeah, about 8 years.
All right. Okay. Do you, as an artist, do you always try to find something different, or you always try to have the idea of the same, routine and just different
I really
things?
just take what I like. If I see it and I like it, it has to appeal to me. I
Okay.
won't do it just to be different.
Just got to feel it,
Just have to feel it, exactly.
All right. Thank you for your time. I really
You're
appreciate it. Hi, I'm Ashawagh, and I am with
Jennifer Myhofer.
Jennifer. I'm looking at what you've done back here. I love the water. May I ask, what was it, like spiritual? Is that it, or just?
Well, I'm an interfaith minister,
Oh, okay.
and so I study a variety of spiritual disciplines, and one of my main interests happens to be in relationship to Buddhism. And water represents the emotions, and in this scenario, there's a calm, serene element. And also the reflections of our mind, the reflections of the world in relationship to our mind. And so to me, it represents serenity, and water is the element of life, really. So,
In essence, yeah, it is, because everyone needs water.
that's right.
So what type of format do you use?
I'm a digital photographer. I have switched completely over to digital photography now. I find that it has an ease that allows my lifestyle to continue with photography in a way that it would be more complicated for me.
Oh, okay. And so when did you take these pictures then? And
These pictures were probably taken in the fall of last year, of 2005. And this one here is a manipulated image. You can see that this is actually a mirror image on either side.
I caught that.
What's that?
I caught that. I'm going to myself. It's just that's just not too perfect.
Right? And of course, the Buddha may have been there in spirit, but not physically.
Exactly. Well, all right. Well, thank you for your time. I really
Thanks very
appreciate
much. I
it.
appreciate it.
All right.
Yes, I have.
Interesting, huh?
Very interesting effect.
Yeah.
Very interesting traveling through it. Going
Yeah.
from one world over to another world.
You never know what you're going to see.
Never know what world. You never know what world's going to be for future.
What world or what is a what or a who is a who. It's
That's
like
correct.
to do is I'd like to see if we can travel through this thing. So let's see if we can try that.
Got a song I wrote a couple of months ago we're going to do for you. It's called The Old Man's Gold. Old man's gold. She's living in that house up on the hill. Old man's gold. Driving around in his Cadillac car. Diamond rings and pearls. She even wearing rings on her toes. Diamond rings and pearls. Spending all the old man's gold. new hair, new clothes. She never dressed that way before. Driving around in that old man's Cadillac. She used to have an old beat-up Ford. She lived with her best friend's daddy now. She ain't gotta worry about money no more. Driving that Cadillac down to the shopping mall, spending all the old man's gold. She used to be mine. She used to be mine. She used to be mine. Now she's spending all the old man's gold.